Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's video we are going to be doing a preview of the Strayer WT. I think that's how you pronounce it. Not really sure about how you do pronounce this. But what we're going to call it is the Tier 7 WT, because that's basically what this tank is. I mean, it's literally called the WT in the name. So that's kind of what we're calling this tank in this video. So the HP, we're just going to be going, well, hold on one second. We're going to be doing a kind of just preview of this tank. This should be a premium tank that will enter the game eventually. Who knows when it will actually enter the game, though. But we're going to be doing a full preview breakdown of this tank's statistics here in Blitzhanger. So, right off the bat, the HP of this tank is sitting at around 1,000. You have a DPM of 1,883, penetration of 215 millimeters, which is quite nice for a Tier 7 tank, damage of 220, and a burst damage of 440. Of course, that means you have a magazine of 2 shells and a 2.5 second entry clip between those shells. And if we look at the other ammunition types, these have a DPM of 1626 with your APCR, penetration of 252 millimeters, and a damage of 190, and your HE has 44 penetration. So, it's an interesting gun here. We have a 2-shot clipper with 220 alpha. This is, of course, a TD, by the way. So you have a burst damage of 440 at Tier 7 in, 2.5 seconds. I mean, that's a good amount of damage. It's basically what the SP1C is as a TD, basically. That's kind of what this tank, in my opinion, is. And I think the SP1C's gun is actually quite good on the tank. So we have an 11.52 second reload for that whole magazine. And the base aim time of the tank is 1.77 seconds as well. We have a dispersion of 0.319 millimeters. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a runny nose. The gun angles, we have a pretty bad 3 degrees gun depression on this tank, which is extremely bad. So you're going to have a lot of trouble with that gun depression on this tank. That's like Vindicator level bad. The elevation is only 17 as well. I mean, that's okay. Elevation doesn't matter quite as much. But now we get to the mobility of the tank. We have 45 km/h top speed and 17 backwards. So it's got decent mobility, good reverse speed on the tank as well. And such. So now we move on to the armor profile, which, is quite lackluster. If it's going to be like the WT, it's going to have bad armor. Let's just say that. So yeah, 30 millimeters for basically the entire tank. I mean, 10 millimeters on the sides. Look at this. This is basically the worst armor you can possibly have. 8 millimeters on the back. Like, what? There's absolutely no armor on this tank whatsoever. I mean, there's just no armor. The tank does not have any armor. I mean, let's try to get an angle here like this. I mean, it's just no armor. You, of course, have a gun mantlet, though, which is, spaced armor. So, you'll bounce stuff there. Excuse me. And stuff just because it's a gun mantlet. But some stuff, I mean, is going to be going through everywhere else. I mean, everywhere in this tank is HEable by basically anyone else on the battlefield. So, no reliance at all on armor, because this tank is not going to be bouncing anything. I mean, if you try to get the best angle you possibly can, you'll maybe be bouncing stuff on the side right here. But really, there's just no armor whatsoever on this tank at all. So, what are my thoughts on this tank? I think this tank is going to be pretty bad, actually. In my opinion, this is going to be a pretty bad tank, because we're looking at a tank with no armor, meh mobility, meh DPM, okay burst damage, I mean, but it's basically what this tank is, in my opinion, is a worse SP1C as a TD, because this tank basically has the same gun as that tank, but instead of it being a light tank with a lot of speed, it is a TD with, I mean, it's okay speed for a TD, but when you have no armor and stuff, it's just not a good tank, in my opinion. There's really nothing too special about this tank, unlike the Tier 9 WT, which is an amazing tank. So, kind of sad that this has the WT name in it, but, it's not a good tank, in my opinion. I mean, accuracy here isn't looking too hot either. 3 degrees of gun depression, that's rough. No armor, meh gun. As you can see, there's probably not going to be doing too well in this tank. So, I mean, that's the Strayer WT for you guys, everyone. Tier 7 TD that's just looking like a bad SP1C. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the preview. let me know your thoughts on this tank down below in the comment section, if you think it's bad, good, or whatever. And to me, this definitely just seems like an SP1C as a TD. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.